I consider people that are in that 62 and up bracket and they own their home. You're in a rare few, a select. That's like a VIP group.
That's right.
In today's, because the average, I'll say based on the 14 years of doing this, our average client, they rent an apartment or they're living with folks.
There you go.
And they're trying to get the credit to in order to buy their first home.
And that's a good thing to do. But I need to tell you too that reverse mortgage payouts are near highest in years. So it's working for. I mean, the market is up for it.
It's up for it.
But it's up for those people in that. There you go.
Select group.
That's right.
And that's probably why it's up, because it's not across the board thing. That's you're getting people that are most of the time don't even really need the loan because they manage their money better than those that are out there. They got a $400 iPhone. They got internet, a lot of electronic iPad, and a lot of older.
And you got to remember, they're at least 62, 63 years old. They've been through
the
world.
And they're not interested in all this junk that we go out here and blow money on.
Right.
You're going to attest to that.
Exactly.
You don't even want to get on Facebook. So, so that's sometimes a wise thing,
You absolutely right.
So those customers tend to be from those demographics. They're better customers. Y'all are better customers that you're more stable. You're gonna pay your bills, and that's why it's up, because for investors, y'all are a better investment too. I hate to say that, but y'all are more stable investors.
Exactly. But hear this too now. You also got to get that credit check done too. You might be 62 years old. You might have all that other thing going. They still gonna check your credit now. They're gonna check your credit, and they're gonna appraise the property. That's right.
So you're not excluded from that, because it's like in some ways, in many ways, you're almost just as good as going with a traditional equity line of credit, and not even worry about the reverse mortgage.
Exactly.
Because here's the flip side of that: you can dismiss the reverse mortgage. Forget about it. Go right into your bank. You've been banking with them for 15 years.
That's right.
I'm just using that as an example.
That's right.
They know you. You know half the staff in there. They look at your credit. You pay your bills on time. You've been in the community for 30 years. I'm just throwing numbers out. And walk out of there with $25,000 line of credit, revolving like a credit card. You can use it, get your appraisal done.
That's right.
They got the deed work done, you ain't got to worry about all that reverse. You going forward.
There you go. That's right.
It's
it's a whole lot easier.
It's a lot easier. And I traditionally, when people approach me about mortgages, no matter what their age is, I always try to steer them toward the equity line of credit, because with that, you can get a cosigner. With the equity line of credit, you can go in there and maybe tap out ever how much you want, where the reverse mortgage may not be the best way to go. So, it's sometimes something that's always new is not always better.
And I weighed my situation out after I did that estimate reverse mortgage loan. I weighed my situation out. I need to just go get me a home equity
loan and call it a day. Or do a refi and cash out. I don't know exactly where you are in your home, but if you're in a situation where you got a little mortgage left balance, refi, and then you got enough value of equity in the house to cash out.
That's right.
And you ain't got to be worried with it. And you know yourself how you are. You're good at managing your money. You're not going to do nothing stupid, go out there and play the lotto and jeopardize your home that you put all your time, got your beautiful flowers out there. You're not go out there and smoke crack or do anything like that. You're going to pay that money back, come hell or high water. So I would recommend, and like I said here again, our clientele overall, not saying we won't ever end up with a client, but most of our demographics are from 18, I would probably say, to 60 that's trying to buy their first home. So they can't even entertain a reverse mortgage because they don't even own a home. They might own a car, or I have had clients that they're paying on a car what you would pay in a mortgage. $500-$600 a month. I've done that myself in my day. Got a little wiser, but
right. And another thing that I did want to bring out too is that on your tax bill, you see your tax base a whole lot higher than the appraisal for your house, and that, I think that's kind of a negative. for people. You paying taxes on a $45,000 house, and then you go and have the appraiser to appraise it. He says it's only worth $32,000.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you can't use that 40 some $1,000s as the value of your home. You got to use the real value that an appraiser has been given
based on the comps and the way the house is now.
That. Yeah. You can't use your tax value
because all that does is benefits the city.
That's right.
In their pocket. They can say your house is worth $50,000. And time we put a 30 or 45% of that tax value on it, well, that's about $600 or $700 in taxes on a house that it ain't even worth that much.
That's what I'm talking about.
So it only benefits the city.
Yeah, that's what happened. So, and in my case, that happened. My value of appraisal value is much lower than the tax value, but they keep adding on and on. But to the listeners, what I would say to them is that continue to fight. You have to fight for it. That doesn't mean that you're going to get it, but they do have boards of appeal that you can go to and say, well, look at here, my house is not even been appraised. Of course, they're going to ask you, well, where's your appraisal value or whatever. You might need to get 2 or 3 appraisals on the type of house. But guess what? Sometimes that matter, and sometimes it doesn't matter with those tax folks. They can tack on anyway, and if they don't tack on it here, they'll find another way to tax something else. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not all hopeless. You can fight, and I have fought for the tax value of my home, and I've gotten some positive results from it. So tax break or whatever, but you have to continue to fight the situation.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I armed myself with, it was the location of my home. You know what I'm saying, where it's located at, and what I bought it for, what it was bought for in the beginning, and all those kind of things. You really have to substantiate why you think that you shouldn't be paying this next level of high taxes they done added on to you.
Exactly.
So there's still hope that you just gonna have to fight.
That's
it's
true.
like Oprah Winfrey said, all my life I've been
fighting. I love Oppo.
So you gotta go through the life. You're gonna be fighting one thing or the other all your life. So you might as well go on to fight.
You done went
that.
color purple on us today. But it's true. It's comical, but it's true. You gotta fight. You gotta, I say it all the time to people, you cannot roll over and play dead. You gotta fight.
Yeah.
Nothing drops out of the sky but rain and snow.
That's right.
But you got to get out there and fight. Even the Bible tells us, faith without works is dead. You got to do something.
And people my age, older people, I don't know how they make it if they've got if the taxes are keep adding on. How in the world do they make it? I can't hardly make it. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's kind of tough. So somebody needs to fight for somebody. We need to do something.
Because every time you turn around, the taxes are going up.
Yeah.
The cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
And it don't go up without pay the same way. I never thought I'd see the day I'd be paying almost $4 for a gallon of gas.
Exactly right.
I saw some of the news. It's ridiculous. They were talking about when Hardee's was first started yesterday on the news. At that time when it was started, a hamburger was 15 cents. And what you pay today?
Oh God, $2 or $3 for a hamburger.
We was in a restaurant last night in Durham. A hamburger fries was $13. And you're paying for the fact that when you go, you can go to the balcony area and you can look in the stadium and see the game. The Durham, I think it's the Durham Bulls. They had a game last night.
Okay.
And you can either eat in the restaurant where all the big screens are there, or you can walk out to the balcony and the tables are there, and you're sitting in there just like you're at the game.
I tell you, it's getting ridiculous now. I tell you, it's getting tough. But we're survivors. We'll fight.
We're gonna make it.
We put our back up against the wall. That's when we call Lord down on them. Say, help, Lord, we need some help, and He'll come and rescue us.
And that's what, Credit Repair Education Services is about. It's helping you. Even if you're in a situation where you may call the Lord and He put you in voicemail, you feel like He do, we can help you. We can be working on things.
You'll be putting foot to what you want the Lord to do.
Exactly.
You give it a little face right there and putting a foot to that face and say, well, Lord, I know you're working on it, but in the meantime, maybe there's something that I can do.
Exactly. Those times when you feel like, I hear it all the time from people that they're doing all they know to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still not getting nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So our job is to let you know that there is a way out. There's a benefit to the program. If you are somebody that you're trying to get your credit restored,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting all these collection letters and calls,
Mm-hmm.
You got negative stuff on there that you want to try to start over.
Right.
We educate you and train you to let you know that you can start over.
You can. It may take a while, and I'm not talking about your credit services, but you can, because it happened to me. I've started all over, didn't think it was possible, all the way up over my head, and lo and behold, I sought help, and it took a while, but I did it.
That's right. It's like true. We perish for the lack of knowledge. You look at a lot of people, if they knew about this program 10, 15 years ago, or the fact that there's actually federal guidelines out there, that even though that debt may be something you contracted for, the way it was done and put on your credit, it can be deleted.
And another thing, you say some things can be deleted or explained, but you got to be able to advocate for yourself again. You got to explain it. Even though you might have made a stupid mistake, there's still a way for you to advocate for yourself. Say, for instance, you co-signed on a loan for somebody.
We see that a lot.
Yeah, you see. Oh, go ahead.
We see that a lot. You brought up a good point, that people, they co-sign for somebody. A lot of times sometimes it's a friendship, sometimes it's a relationship, sometimes it's a marriage, and you didn't know that the person that you married or whatever is irresponsible, and they done con you or sweet talked you into co-signing, and then 8 months later they come up with, they feel like you should just pay it off because y'all was in love or whatever. Yeah. And then you have broke up from the person. You don't have anything to do with them, but that's still on your credit. So this is the good part about this program. It helps you, I would say, for lack of a better term, turn over a new leaf and get a new leash on life. Sometimes we get people who I had a customer who has her own beauty salon, and right when she get ready to buy a house, here comes this credit card deal from the past on her credit, and she had got all the docs ready to buy the house, so she had to get us to fight and get this stuff off so that she can go ahead on and get her closing done. So
that was great.
It was great.
That you did it within the closing.
We did it with the time to get everything done, that she didn't lose the house because she had earnest money on it, and we were able to get it done. So these things come up, and you want to be able to look at the fact that I can turn around and get these things off. But sometimes right when you get ready to do something, you're ready to buy a car, you're ready to buy a house, here comes this debt from the past. That's right. So you got to do something. That's right. So, and I say it all the time when I do workshops, because sometimes people have situations where they'll come to me and they say, well, I paid John $85 and he didn't do nothing. Now, we can't help you with what somebody else didn't do. What we can do is start fresh with what you bring us. Right. If you bring your bureaus to us and this is what's on there, we can work with you. Because I tell people all the time, if you don't have a way of checking them out online, I always let people know we're registered with the Business Bureau. You can see it on there. 14 years, A+ rating, no complaints. We deliver what we promise. Now,
any reputable credit repair service should be able to do that. They should not have to promise you something that they know that they cannot do. Because if they do, then you can come back on them.
It's fraud.
That's right.
It's like, or it's deceptive sales practice. Like we talked about the credit card company a few weeks ago. They were deceiving people about trying to pressure them in the insurance. Right. What we basically guarantee, the investigation is going to be filed, the dispute is going to be done, and at the same time, you're going to be trained. It's like paying for tuition. You're being trained as you go through the process that should the need arise again, you don't even have to hire us no more. It's like going to school. You have gotten knowledge now. Well, hold up. I remember what Credit Repair Education Service taught me. I don't have to let nobody call me at 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night harassing me. So it's empowering you. It's educating you, and that's the part that I always stress to people. If you go into a situation where somebody's promised you something that sounds too good to be true. It probably is. But when we can show you where we're giving you what the Fair Credit Reporting Act of 1971 stipulates, we can go in there and show you, you can send a notification to a collection agency that you're suing. We can go in there and show you that there's a letter you can send to a collection agency requesting to stop even zombie calling or robocalling.
What's zombie calling?
Zombie calling meaning that they call you repetitively.
Okay.
And it could be nowadays where it used to be a person, a lot of times it's robocalling.
Okay, I got you.
It's pretty much similar.
They got it on the system.
It calls you sometime 3 or 4 times before the end of the day. And you pick up the phone, the recording just goes off. Just goes. And it's got even the account number, the creditor, and 3 o'clock that afternoon, you get the same call.
I get those type calls from the telemarketer.
You get it sometimes.
They got it on. Like you said, they got it on the call.
It's on a feed.
But one thing I do want to tell you that even though I went in to estimate my reverse mortgage, know this, that I got 5 new calls on my phone from the reverse mortgage people, some finance people and everything. So when you go in there and you go and start searching for stuff on the internet, know that somebody's going to call you.
That's right.
And so they did, the reverse mortgage people call, I answered, and another finance company called. So when I did that, I got to set myself up. So, I want to answer the phone and say, don't call me no more. I was just doing this research for an interview on the radio. You know what I'm saying?
They shared your information.
That's what happened.
It distributed.
And we have to be careful about that.
Because they have what is called alliance partners.
Okay.
So when you go on that site, that stuff is shared to their partners. And people have to be aware of that. A lot of times when you go on the internet sites and you fill out things, you fill out the information, that information is shared. And it's shared with affiliate partners. There's another issue that I want to bring up that Credit Repair Education Services also makes the client aware of, and that is a cease and desist letter. That's one of my favorite, all-time favorite. It is a cease and desist letter informing the collection agency or the creditor to stop contacting you by mail, by phone, and it's under the Fair Credit Collection Practices Act, Section 5, I think this is 805-C. And I'm going to read a sample of how you would probably word it to kind of help people out. You, of course, have the date, your name, your address.
Right.
And you'd have on there the account number. And it says, Dear Collection Agency or Creditor, under the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, Section 805-C, if my right to request that you cease contact with me, I am exercising my right. Notice what I said, exercise. So that means you're doing something.
Right.
I am exercising my right to do so with this letter. I request that you immediately cease and desist all contact with me.
All right. It works too.
And you send it certified. You send it certified. Don't just throw it in the mail. Don't just fax it. But document that you sent it so they can send it and get it.
Right. And while we're on that line too, we got a caller on the air, somebody that's calling in, one of my favorite callers is calling in, and he has